If somebody aims a gun at me and I can quickly grab another gun, I have the right to shoot.
It's time Nigerians bear arms.
Following the Christmas Eve terrorist attack in Plateau State, some Nigerians are demanding that it is time for citizens to arm themselves in self-defense. Hello and welcome to Enimaar TV, your trusted source for unbiased analysis of Nigerian political events. In this broadcast, we will take a look at the demands for Nigerians to bear arms, the advantages and implications.
I think I completely agree with the senior advocate. It's time Nigerians bear arms. Because I recall, I think it's about 2016, 2017, there was a seminar organized by the Office of the National Security Advisor, and I did mention in that conference that there is need to liberalize the carrying of arms by Nigerians, and I was roundly condemned. I still maintain that position because the only difference between these people carrying arms and ordinary citizens going about their lawful deeds is because they are carrying arms. If they don't carry arms, I don't think they'll be in position to do what they are doing.
The governor at one time said, defend yourself from armed bandits. Do you support that?
I do not support that. I think that is a call to anarchy. The military is, the Nigerian army is the people's army. It is organized, secure, funded with public funds to protect lives and property. And when we have a situation where people freely carry and use arms, then it becomes a lawless state. But we have enjoined the people of Plateau that they should work in synergy with the military. They should report incidents. They should assist the military with information so that the military can respond as quickly as possible. But to have a situation where people carry arms openly, I do not subscribe to that.
Arguing for people, Nigerians to bear arms. When you examine the issue clearly, you would see that the monopoly of the government to use force has been successfully challenged by all sorts of non-state armed groups, whether you're talking about killer headsmen, insurgents, bandits, armed robbery groups, cult groups, unknown gunmen, communal clashes and all of that. And so when you look at it critically, the inability of the state to manage structural vulnerabilities that lead to, heighten the need to use guns by non-state actors has really shown that the state is fragile and weak. And so in a situation where the state is weak and fragile, people fear for their lives, and they literally want to take care of themselves. And it's good that you mentioned the report from the United States of America. I also read that report from, I think it's the Gun Archives, Gun Violence Archives, which says that in 2023, over 40,000 people killed from gun violence. So when they break it down, it's talking about some from suicide and some from mass shootings, and then there are others from unintentional shootings, and then police officer shootings. So this is a developed country in the Western world, and this is happening. And mind you that I think the US is the only country in the developed world. It is an outlier where this is happening. And then you come back to Nigeria, which is a developing country with multiple problems, and you want to give people guns. Yeah, constitutionally, you can defend yourself. Right now in the country, it's mostly non-state actors that own these guns, and they're using them. And then, of course, some politicians. If everybody begins to carry a weapon, we have to bear in mind that once we open that Pandora box, it will be difficult to walk it back. So these are things that need to be thought through carefully because of the implications and the complications. So you then ask the question, why are we in this situation? I mean, then maybe you begin to tackle the reasons why we are here. We did not arrive here overnight. It's been a gradual decline. So you talk about repressive policies by government, human rights abuses, unequal distribution of resources, inequality, all these things, a flawed criminal justice system. Yeah. All of them have combined to bring us to where we are. So these are the things we should be looking at and tackling. For any government, not only Nigeria, in the world that faces multiple issues on all fronts, it's not easy at all. But if we do not address them, then we don't have a country. I think that's where we should start, really.
The argument that if you allow Nigerians to carry arms, it will be abused. I agree.
Isn't there a tendency for that to happen?
There's tendency for abuse, but we should not also, the primary purpose of government, like you said in the intro, is welfare and security of the people as provided for enshrined in our constitution. But where daily, especially in a Benue, in Plateau, hundreds of people are killed, no account is given, I don't think it's proper. That brings me to as I was invited this evening, I was going through some of the papers. It will shock you that a Swiss-based non-profit organization in its research in 2020, I'm talking of 2021, 2024 now, disclosed that we have 6.1 million illegal arms with civilians in Nigeria. In Nigeria alone.
Not necessarily in the hands of criminals and bandits,
in the hands of civilians.
But civilians
in Nigeria.
In Nigeria.
6.1 million.
Added to that, the report that about 70% of illegal arms actually in Nigeria, that's in the West Africa.
So it goes further again to tell you that out of every 100 Nigerians, 3 are armed. So where are the people? That is very dangerous.
It is.
It is very, very dangerous. So why don't we liberalize this issue of carrying of firearms, so that if you are coming to my house, you know I'm also armed. But these people act with impunity, they act with all kinds of them because they know people are not armed. I don't believe that it's going to bring any anarchy. You look, in fact, the provision of firearms, like the licensed guns we talk about hunting, it's not for defense. So even if you use it for defense, you really use it illegally.
So if 1 out of 3 Nigerians, civilians, already bear arms.
3 out of every 100.
3 out of every 100. Okay.
Yes.
But that's still a significant.
It's very high.
It's a significant number.
Yes.
How come then it's not reflective in the way we protect ourselves against bandits, terrorists, marauders, armed robbers, kidnappers, and what have you? What exactly, what's the cause of the seeming disparity? Because it's not reflecting. If there's so many arms in the hands of civilians.
The issue is that, I've said it again several times, while we were conducting interview here. The political elites in Nigeria are the people causing this problem, and they have these illegal arms which they use in conducting elections. At the end of the election, they keep it for another election. Now, you're talking of people in the rural area, Bokos, for instance. How would they have that kind of arms, even if they have? And if they have such access to arms, they will not be killed in hundreds. There will be resistance.
So you don't agree with the chief of army staff when he says, look, allowing Nigerians to carry arms to defend themselves will lead to anarchy?
I don't think so. We're already in a state of anarchy. We're already there. People cannot go about their normal duties, and you see, to travel now becomes a problem. I don't think we should go beyond that. Government should encourage people to protect themselves.
We don't have any database of even our citizens. And we have porous borders. Our passports, our IDs are with different people saying that is not Nigerians. So how do you actually want to tackle the issue of control of all this ammunition? And as far as I'm concerned, it will only come to anarchy, because the security architecture are trying their best. But if we don't have this database properly in place, it will be very, very difficult for you to give arms to any individual, even with the license. There's already a license for individuals, but that's a hunting gun. But if you see the kind of guns these people are using, it's so sophisticated, and you wonder that how does it get into Nigeria? You know, we have porous borders.